The Data for Development Challenge for Orange is really a way to demonstrate our corporate social responsibility approach to a new large question that we are facing.
We think we have a part to play in the development of the countries where we are operating, especially in Africa. And in that perspective, we think that there is a lot to do with the data generated from our mobile networks.
The challenge takes place at the MIT lab because that's where it started originally.
It was created through an exchange with people at Orange and researchers, and realizing that the mobile phone data can be used in an extremely positive way.
That happened in a conference called NetMob, which is organized here and which is really the cutting edge of research on the use of mobile data. It's where you find the most advanced discussion on this new data science.
Around 160 scientific teams all around the world were willing to work with the data.
There are teams that are formed by some people from Europe, some people in the Northern America, but also teams that involve people from Africa.
We had, at the end of the process, 60 submissions which came on time and completely compliant with all the requirements of the challenge.
Part of the innovation and the leadership that Orange particularly showed was that they got access to highly anonymized data sets. There was a curated community. There was a lot of oversight in this, very innovative in research capacity. But most importantly, while many others were sitting around conceptually talking about it, they had the leadership and the forethought to act, to execute and act on it.
In the previous edition of the challenge, we had Ivory Coast. For this edition, we have Senegal. One of the reasons for having these African countries is that the margin by which the country can be developed is of course quite important. And in addition to that, the mobile phone infrastructure is a functioning infrastructure in these countries. And so clearly the penetration of mobile phone is about as high in these countries as it is in Europe, but it allows to do things for providing information that would otherwise not be available.
One of the challenges that everyone recognized early on is that there are lots of risks in sharing this data, risk to privacy, risk to business. So we recognize that we need to make sure that the work that is being done does no harm, and that at the same time, the value that is coming out of this data can be used for maximum good.
The data is generated by everyone's activities on a day-to-day basis, and so we capture these little signals that are used by our network to transfer the calls from one antenna to the others. We capture this technical information, we anonymize it locally first, and then further in our labs in Paris to prepare some data sets that are very, very robust against de-anonymization.
That is absolutely game-changing. Right. What this gives us now for the first time is not just evidence of the value of the data, but evidence that there are ways to unlock its value without creating risk of harm.
One of the very first things that we did, we went to discuss with a number of ministries and institutions locally. So we met with the head of cabinet for the Ministry of Healthcare and of Agriculture and the head of National Statistics, asking them, what are your questions? What would you like to address? And so they came back with a number of questions. And so with a dialogue with them, we end up with a long list of questions that they would be interested in.
We had really interesting works on the 5 fields that we have identified.
Health, agriculture, transportation, energy, and national statistics.
We are of course very honored to get this prize, the first prize and the energy prize. For us it's a confirmation that we went into the right direction.
It's kind of important because it's kind of recognition you get for the work you've done, and a work we feel it's important not only for us, but it could be potentially important also for people in Senegal.
It made me realize that how much I can use my skills to actually help in the development of the people.
It was very interesting for me because I think that the future of the research is to combine multi-sources of data more than just stay focused on one field. Mobile phone data analysis are very promising because it opens the door for a lot of different applications.
The prize is a very good motivation for us to pursue this research.
So that policy makers exactly know, okay, this is where I have to target.
So the next step is really going back in Senegal. So first to present all these results to the Senegalese institutions that are interested in these results. The second thing that we will do is to see how we can bring that to the market and to the people who need this project to happen. And so we are setting up a number of projects thanks to the support of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who help us with monetary amounts to help 3 projects to happen on the ground. So we have a project in agriculture, one in national statistics, and a third one in health. And so these 3 projects will now go back in Senegal, discuss with the local question owners and define how to progress and how to collaborate to bring a tangible solution to these institutions.
The heart and the really significant value of this work is, yes, it starts in the context of Senegal, but the models, the approaches, the insights, the potential for this to be scaled globally is absolutely and fundamentally a core part of where they're going.
The D4D challenge allows to develop new ideas, and some of these ideas are really novel and need to develop new either mathematical tools or perhaps new ways of expressing things, new programs. And in the case of D4D also, the team participating in the challenge, they develop ideas, they write them down, and then it's freely available to the scientific community. So this is the way science progresses.
The D4D challenges, of which we're now in the second, have really been pioneering several things. One, opening up these data sets to researchers in a way that doesn't have to be done one researcher at a time. So really a way to scale up the innovation and increase the velocity of discovery. Secondly, in the process of learning how to do that, creating standards for how you anonymize and share the information. This is something that has been completely lacking.
We can discover, we can find in a whole range of new applications, from transportation and logistics to disease monitoring to national statistics. And today, now we're starting to see how that manifests itself in real understandings, real insights, and now the questions are going to be answered of how do we deploy this at scale? And so what we have today is a really important moment in time where we know what we're talking about, we know what's possible, and now the questions are moving forward is how can we do this through trust, accountability, engagement of the most vulnerable so that we can get the results that we want and ultimately achieve the world that we want.